Hi, so I've done a video on a classic mixing trick with an SSL compressor before already, and you all seem to really enjoy it. So when I ran to this other trick with an SSL dynamic section, which was apparently used by Andy Wallace a lot, I really felt like I needed to share it. So, let's go! Yeah, so the trick is about how you can use the dynamics section, specifically the gate, on an SSL 4000 console to really bring out the snap in, well, typically a kick drum, but you can also use it on a snare. And like I mentioned in the intro, this technique was used by great mixing engineers like Andy Wallace or many others that worked on these SSL consoles. Now, fortunately, this technique can also be used on pretty much any SSL 4000 plugin. I will be using the console plugin from SSL itself, but you can also use the plugin from Brainworks, UAD, Waves, or pretty much any emulation which is pretty accurate to the hardware. So let's have a look at the audio that I'm going to demonstrate this on. And this is a kick bass groove which I've used before. And let's have a short listen to the kick which we're going to use this trick on. Now there was already a gate used on this kick to filter out some of the snare hits. I used Sonic's Oxford gate for this, which is actually quite amazing for this, but that's a whole separate video. But then I rendered it to get this audio, and the technique is about really emphasizing that click, that snap in a kick drum, which you often want, almost to the extreme in rock and metal songs, for example. But also in other genres, it's quite fitting usually to put this on a kick, to be able to hear it a bit better in a mix. So let's have a look. So I will put the SSL 4000 channel strip on here. And right over here is the dynamic section with the compressor and specifically the gate that we're now going to use to bring out that snap in the kick drum. Now the default setting to start with is to put the threshold all the way up, the range about in the middle, and the release sort of quite shortish. And now the real icing on the cake is to put the gate into fast mode over here, which really brings out the click, the snap in the kick drum. If that's too much for you, you can bring down the threshold a bit to make the click less pronounced. And you can further lengthen or shorten the sustain of the kick by using the release control over here. So that makes it even a bit tighter if you shorten the release even more. But for now, let's keep it at the very extreme setting over here and bring out the click a bit more with the compressor and the EQ over here, even though that's not really part of the trick. Yeah, it's important to not set the compressor to fast attack because then you're really killing that click. Let's demonstrate that. So the compressor really has to let that initial transient pass through, and the EQ is set up to emphasize those high frequencies in the kick even more. And there's a bit of a dip in the low mids to pull out that boxiness. Now before I show you what to do with this quite extreme sound of a kick, if you like this video or find it useful at all, please give it a big thumbs up for the YouTube algorithm, subscribe to the channel and ring the little bell icon so you know when I publish another video. For even more support you can use the super thanks button below the video or the affiliate links in the description if you intend to buy anything at one of these stores. If you click the affiliate link in the description to the right store before you make the purchase, I will get a small commission on whatever you buy at that store without any additional cost to you, which is greatly appreciated. But let's return to this technique. Yeah, so let's remind ourselves of the sound we had so far. Quite extreme, right? But the trick is of course that you can also blend this with the original kick sound. Let's listen to what that sounds like. So let's enable the full kick track as well, which does not have the SSL 4000 channel strip on there. And let's gradually raise the level of the kick sound that we just shaped. Well, it's a lot softer of course when I disable it, but I'm sure that you can hear that the snap of the kick is also much more pronounced when I mix it in. So let's listen to how it sounds together with the bass guitar. And let me slowly bring in the kick group. Now, like I mentioned in the beginning, the same technique can also be used on the snare drum to really bring out that initial transient in the snare, but I will leave you to try that for yourself. Let me know whether you already knew about this technique, maybe you've used it before on a large format console, or maybe you even know the origin of this technique. Was Andy Wallace really the one that came up with it, or did it exist already before? Any information in the comments will be appreciated. And if you put this technique to good use, also let us know in the comments. So this video was a short and sweet one, but I really like this technique, so I thought you should all know about it as well. And if you like videos like this about classic mixing techniques, I've made quite a few videos on these techniques already, and I've put them all in a playlist, which I will link over here. Check it out, enjoy, and see you soon.